my grandpa said, though. He said, look outward. So I started asking around, will somebody help me? And my uncle said, you know what, Ty, you need somebody who's going to show you how to make money. So I was like, great idea. I'm going to go find somebody. But I didn't have any gas money. So I was stuck there at my mom's house. I had $40. So I walked to the kitchen. That's what I could afford to do. And I found a Yellow Pages, and I opened up this Yellow Pages, and I looked in the finance section. And I found this guy, and I said, I'm going to go visit that guy. So I found a suit. I got a suit out of the closet. It wasn't mine. It was too big. It looked weird on me. God help me. I don't know what I looked like when I showed up at that guy's house, but got somebody to drive me in, and I showed up, and Kathy, a secretary, opened the door, and I walked back, and this guy, Mike Stainback from the phone book, I walked up to him, and I said, Mike, you don't know me. If you show me what you know, because I figure you must know a lot about money if you can afford a full-page ad in the Yellow Pages. If you show me what you know, I'll work for you for free. And I'll never forget, he was sitting in this chair, he had a big mustache. He looked kind of like Tom Selleck. He was sitting there, and he just rolled his chair towards me, and he said, you know what, Ty? I've been looking for someone like you for 20 years. Show up in the morning, I'm going to show you what I know. And sure enough, he did show me. And he began to mentor me on business. And now I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an investor. But I've continued on that path, traveling, finding mentors, reading. I read a book a day. I have a little book club I write. And what I found in my research is that I wasn't the abnormal path. Mentors, your ability to copy, is the biggest predictor of the success that you will have in life. As Picasso said, good artists copy, but great artists steal, right? And I looked around, and it's interesting. Did you know Albert Einstein had a mentor? Every Thursday, he would have lunch with the mentor growing up. Jay-Z, the rapper, he had a mentor. Oprah Winfrey said she had 2 mentors. Gandhi had a mentor. Alexander the Great had Aristotle. Bill Gates had Paul Allen. Warren Buffett had Benjamin Graham. There's something here that most of us have missed out on. So I want to share with you some things that I found, some specifics that you can do with mentors. The first rule is, I call them the mentor rules. It's the law of 33%. You should divide up your life and spend 33% of your time around people lower than you. You can mentor them, you can help them, and they'll help you back by making you feel good about yourself, right? It's good to know somebody's doing worse than you, right? That's that 30%. Then you have 33% of people that are on your level. These become your friends, your peers. But the last 33% is what most people forget about. Those are people 10, 20 years ahead of you. They'll make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, but that's what you want. And then remember, you don't want to make the mistake most people make with mentors, finding somebody just a little bit better than them. You don't want to be the blind leading the blind. So I call it the 10x rule. Find somebody 10 times further ahead than you. If you want to learn how to grow $1 million company, you have to find somebody who has a $10 million company. Don't be afraid to go to the top. In-person mentors are amazing, and you can get people like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates. You'd be surprised. My friend heard a talk, Frank, he's a director in Hollywood, and he's like, Ty, you're not going to believe this. I heard your talk, and I emailed some people, and Elon Musk, the founder of PayPal, the only man to own 3 companies worth $1 billion, he wrote me back, and I had lunch with him. You'd be surprised. People remember, because people remember their struggle, and they'll reach out and help you too. Remember, everybody wants the good life, but not everybody's willing to follow these rules. You must follow these rules. Next, humility. One of my favorite stories in business, Sam Walton, he becomes the richest man in America. He starts Walmart, this big empire, and he takes a trip to Brazil, to Sao Paulo. And when he's there, in Sao Paulo, his host family, his friends, get a call from the police department. They're like, come bail out Sam Walton, he's in jail. By this time, he's an older guy, billionaire. They rush down. If you've ever seen the inside of a Brazilian jail cell, it's not a good place for a 70 or 60-year-old billionaire, right? And they ask the police, are you crazy? Are you arresting him? They're like, we didn't know who he was, and we found him crawling around the floors of stores. And they asked Sam Walton, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I was just taking a tape measure and measuring how wide the aisles were, because I was trying to figure out if these Brazilians knew something that I didn't know. Already a billionaire. You'd think he'd be cocky. You see, everybody wants the good life, but not everybody's willing to be humble like Sam Walton was. You have to be humble. Next, perseverance. The media has tricked us. They only show us the success at the end, but Bill Gates started at 12. It wasn't until 31 years old that he was a billionaire. He said from age 20 to age 30, I never took a day off, not even one. You must persevere. And in your search for mentors, you must persevere as well. I've been lucky enough to become friends with one of the top real estate investors in the world. I said, how in the world did you get started? He said, back when I was 19, I decided I wanted to do real estate. And I lived in a little town, but I knew there was one developer that was pretty good. So I went down to that developer's office. I met the secretary. I said, I'd like to meet this developer. She said, sorry, he's a busy man. He didn't have time to meet you. I said, I came back the next day. She turned me away. 17 times. He said on the 17th time, the lady felt bad for him and said, listen, here's what you do. Hide behind the plant by the elevator. When he comes out of his office at the end of the day, jump in the elevator and he won't have a choice. The doors will close. And you got 4 floors to convince this guy that you're worth, talking to. I don't know what my friend said, but he said enough that when they got to the bottom of that elevator, that developer said, meet me at the airport in the morning. Well, I'll go down in my private jet. You can come down with me to Florida. I'll show you how I invested in hotels down there. Sure enough, my friend learned from this mentor and became one of the wealthiest real estate investors in the world. He persevered because, you see, everybody wants the good life, but not everybody's willing to persevere to get it. You must persevere. Next, books. Books you should see as hidden treasure. Think about it. If I told you, because as I said, mentors are great in person, but some of the great mentors are no longer alive. Shakespeare, Darwin, Freud, Mahatma Gandhi. But if I told you all those people were in my house, they're going to be there this Saturday answering questions, magically I can make that happen. Would you show up at my house? Of course everybody would buy a plane ticket and end up in California. They are there in my house. Not everybody's willing to toughen up to get the good life. You must toughen up. So, in closing, I'll share with you my favorite poem, Chief Tecumseh. He says, love your life, perfect your life, beautify all things in your life. Seek to make your life long and its purpose in the service of your people. Mentors will help you do that. They are the shortcut that you want. You don't want to do it the hard way. Find a mentor. No matter if you're just starting out or if you're already experienced, there's always someone to learn from. You must follow those rules. Be humble. Persevere. Read more. Toughen up. Remember, it's going to be a little bit hard. It's like Tom Hanks says in the one movie. It's supposed to be hard. The hard is what makes it great. If you do these things, you will find the good life. Thank you.